Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So, regular viewers of this channel will know I always share my thoughts and opinions in their entirety. Consequences be damned. It's probably fair to say that I'm a dropper of facts, a melter of snowflakes, and a hurter of butts. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The topic of today's video is incredibly important and I can't sit idly by without saying anything. For those of you still naively living in La La Land who don't realize how incredibly corrupt the United States political system is, make sure you're sitting down for this. And for everybody else, grab your popcorn because we are about to see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously. Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it. So, we are, of course, talking about the updated EV tax credit proposal. Here we are over on the Detroit News. I quote, "Democrats unveil new EV tax credit proposal with boost for unions." Democrats in Washington want to include a significant new incentive to buy electric vehicles in their $3.5 trillion social spending bill, according to a new plan revealed Friday by the House Ways and Means Committee. For 5 years, the legislation would implement a $7,500 point-of-sale consumer rebate for electric vehicles. Now, this is awesome, by the way. This would be a great boost for legacy automakers. Useful for Tesla, but unnecessary. But hey, not complaining about this. This is really good news for any company producing electric vehicles. However, and pay out an additional $4,500 for vehicles assembled in a union facility. More on this in a moment. Another $500 would be awarded for vehicles using a battery manufactured in the US. For the next 5 years after that, the $7,500 base credit would only apply to electric vehicles made in the US, but the other two incentives would stay the same. Sedans under $55,000, vans under $64,000, SUVs under $69,000, and pickup trucks under $74,000 would be eligible for the credits. Individuals with an adjusted gross income of up to $400,000, heads of households making up to $600,000, and joint filers making up to $800,000 would be able to use the program. So effectively, this is applying to 99% of households and individuals in the United States. So it's good that the purchase price of these vehicles is reasonable rather than extremely low. It would make very little sense if the purchase price was so low there was very few decent electric vehicles available for that price in the first place, which was the case with some previous proposals we've seen here, and also some other incentives globally. However, I have to be honest, the income thresholds are kind of insane here. Let's be honest, somebody earning $400,000+ as an individual probably doesn't need an extra incentive when purchasing a vehicle. Now look, I'm not complaining here, but to me it seems a little bit strange. I don't really think it's necessary. But anyway, that's not what I'm so riled up about. It's the $4,500 additional tax credit for electric vehicles made in a union facility. Now it's time to swallow in full the red pill. Now, for those of you that don't understand the reference, that is a Matrix reference. I'm not talking about political parties here. I'm talking about taking the pill that makes you see what the is going on in reality versus living in a la-la land of delusion, not understanding the way things really work. You see this? It's time to swallow it. So for those of you who still do not know the way the world works, especially the United States political system, there's a legalized form of corruption called political donations, where lobbyists, interest groups will literally donate large sums of money to political parties. For what reason? Well, it's definitely got nothing to do with influencing their policy decisions whatsoever. They just do it out of the goodness of their heart. Yet curiously, if we do some digging, we discover this. So here we are over on opensecrets.org, looking at political donations to the two major political parties in the United States from, you guessed it, the United Auto Workers. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a large auto workers union, by the way, an extremely corrupt organization. I mean, you guys do some digging, look into the amount of corruption throughout this organization, person after person getting taken down for corruption, bribes, blah, blah, blah. It's insane. So with that said, we might notice something here. Notice these gigantic blue bars, multiple millions of dollars being donated to who? The Democrats. Now, there is a little bit of red there as well, the Republicans there. $11,000 versus $2 million. 1992, $2.74 million to the Democrats versus $26,000 to the Republicans. So the Republicans on average getting about 1% of the cash as the Democrats from UAW. Curious, right? And this is a bit of a trend over time. Again, I mean, you guys can see here, I'm not making this stuff up. We see an incredible amount, multiple millions of dollars donated to the Democrats by an auto workers union since 1990 for the last 30 years. Of course, this would definitely not have any influence on any of the policy decisions made by the Democratic Party because that would be corruption and that's not allowed. So obviously these political donations aren't bribes and there's no corruption whatsoever in the United States political system on either side of the aisle. But with that said, in a strange coincidence, the updated EV tax plan just so happens to have a gigantic incentive specifically for, you guessed it, automotive manufacturers whose employees are part of an auto union. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, in fact, practically every automotive manufacturer in the entire country of the United States of America except, you guessed it, Tesla. It's almost as if the Biden administration has been told, influenced to go out and Tesla as hard as they possibly can. But of course, like I said, that would be bribery and corruption, and obviously that doesn't go on, so definitely not a possibility. What's really odd, in fact, no, astonishing about this new proposal, $4,500 additional credit, additional incentive for purchasers buying vehicles assembled in a union facility, is it doesn't specify an American union facility. Now, again, for those of you that don't realize this, Ford, you know that American car company? Yeah, they kind of make a lot of their cars in Mexico. In union facilities, but in Mexico. Now, think about this for a moment. Imagine allowing a $4,500 additional incentive for cars built in Mexico. What? Really? Yeah, really. So just to recap what's going on here, this is effectively a $4,500 penalty against Tesla because unlike Ford, they don't assemble some of their vehicles in Mexico in a union facility. I'm not making this shit up. I wonder what Elon Musk has to say about this. Over on Twitter, a tweet from Whole Mars, who was retweeting a tweet from Alex here. Quote Alex first, new, even more corrupt plan will give subsidies for EVs sold through a dealership. Whole Mars responding, my mouth was on the floor that they expanded it to a $4,500 credit for unions and reduced the American-made to only $500. My jaw also still on the floor. He continues, the $2,500 for unions was already ridiculous, and for those who don't know, that was the originally proposed incentive for union-made vehicles. It's now been practically doubled. What on earth? But to expand it to $4,500 in the new proposal, they are clearly targeting one company here. Elon Musk responding, this is written by Ford/UAW lobbyists as they make their electric car in Mexico. Not obvious how this serves American taxpayers. That's a really good point, Elon. Could somebody please let me know in the comments? How would this proposal to give an extra incentive to Mexico-made union vehicles be of benefit to American taxpayers, considering they are the ones who are footing this bill, the incentive? This just really pisses me off. It is blatant, shameless corruption at its finest. Tesla's being singled out, picked on, bullied, disadvantaged on purpose. Now, to be fair, I don't actually believe that this incentive will pass in full anyway, but the fact it's even being proposed is just batshit insane. And in either case, even if it is enacted, not going to make a major difference to Tesla. It will be a disadvantage, but they don't need any help. Other automakers do need help. Tesla will still dominate and still sell every vehicle they produce. But this additional $4,500 incentive, an extra 60% on top of what is being proposed as a base for all electric vehicles sold in the US, is just madness. The Biden administration has effectively bent over and told their political donors to have their way with them. I ain't kidding around here. I'm about to play some footage of the President of the United States publicly, shamelessly and repeatedly deep-throating the eggplant of these lobbyist groups for more than a minute straight. This was a public speech to coincide with Joe Biden signing an executive order targeting 50% of all cars sold by 2030 to be electric, and obviously in the fine print that also included hybrid, so this is an absolute farcical joke in the first place. But at this event, executives, the likes of Ford and General Motors were present, yet no one from Tesla was even invited, the company that single-handedly forced the entire auto industry to transition to electric and done more for electric vehicles than any other company, period. Not only were they not invited, conspicuously absent, but Biden refused to even mention the name, not even giving them any credit. This was a total coincidence. There's definitely no corruption going on. This had nothing to do with political donations whatsoever, because that would be bribery and corruption, and that's right, that's not allowed. Anyway, it's time to watch Joe Biden smoke some eggplant. If you've already seen this footage, feel free to skip ahead a minute and a half if you don't need a reminder of how incredibly corrupt this administration is.
Build America, but I know who built the middle class, the unions. Unions built the middle class. There's no doubt that Rich Trumka helped build unions all across this country. Here in the United States, we're going to have to rely on other countries for those batteries. Whether or not the job to build these vehicles and batteries are good-paying union jobs, jobs with benefits, jobs that are going to sustain continued growth of the middle class. Our highways, our ports, our airports, rail, and transit systems. You know, that included putting IBEW members and other union workers to work in support of consumers and fleets. That means purchasing incentives for consumers to buy clean vehicles, union-made right here in America. For vehicles made in America, an additional $2,500 credit for union-made vehicles. Made in America by American workers. And we're going to do everything in our power to encourage and protect the right of workers to unionize and collectively bargain. It's why I'm proud that the three largest employers are sitting and here, and their sights are set not only on electric vehicles, but on expansion. Expanding union jobs, expanding the middle class, the livelihoods and the health of our very planet. When I hear climate, I think jobs, good paying union jobs.
Now, just in case you didn't notice, as Joe was repeatedly smoking some union pole there, he used the term American union jobs, which is now conspicuously absent in the updated EV tax proposal. No longer even American-made union vehicles, but union-made vehicles. This is just absolutely insane, completely shameless corruption at its finest. Now, I don't want to make this a partisan issue. I'm not trying to get political here. I'm not siding with this party or that party. I'm just telling you guys the way things are. This is crazy, it's unacceptable, and I can't stay quiet. And neither should you. Feel free to kick up a stink on Twitter, and more importantly, send through some emails to this party who obviously are not at all corrupt and aren't at all influenced by any of their political donors when it comes to policy decisions. Luckily for the United States of America, this is the sole blemish on an otherwise flawless administration. Let me know what you guys and girls think in the comments below. Do you also see this as shameless political corruption and bribery at its finest? And also, do you think this proposal will actually pass? And if it does, do you think Tesla should just ignore it and stay focused on their mission? Or try to find a smart, intelligent workaround, a little bit of a hack to ensure that they too can benefit from this ridiculous incentive? Maybe producing some final assembly facilities that are unionized, whereas most of the company isn't, just to put vehicles together in union-made facilities so they can benefit from this incentive as a double bird to the Biden administration? Or should they just stay focused on their mission? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card, where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.